Hey, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. This is another installment of the deck dissection series. Sorry it's taken me so long to get this series out there for the second episode. We had a lot of Atlantic City regional coverage coming on, and then this past week we've been doing a lot of deck profiles and a lot of different interesting stuff. So I wanted to get back to this type of content this week since we are off of the AC regional wrap-up stuff. So we have a Trunks Xeno deck submitted by a user named Tundra0 on Reddit. So we have a little bit of a descriptor from him that I'm going to read off. So this is what Tundra sent to me about the deck. So I'll start by saying that I avoided using any set 5 cards. I want to wait till I can potentially get the cards in real life before I start making decks with them. So I'm pretty new to this game, so I'm sure there's some glaring errors or some changes that can definitely be made to make this deck better than what I have. This deck is pretty much a draw heavy double strike centric deck. You want card advantage, or at least not severe disadvantage. And you want to constantly be pressuring with double strikes. 1 cost Trunks to evolve in the chain attack for Fearless Pan to get that 5k boost double strike for all your guys on board. Obviously Xeno is there for the redo button. Also I put in that 15k Mira because he can be played from chain attack Trunks. His effect doesn't trigger from just Overwhelm. Then you have a 25k beater that can potentially get double strike with your Champa or other means for hopefully what will be game. Again, still new to the game, but I just love my boy Future Trunks, so I want to do something with this leader. All other profiles for him are made from before set 4 came out, let alone World Martial Arts Tournament, so I had to do something improvising. Also, I've never actually tested this deck yet, lol, don't have half of these cards. Scientist Fu is definitely something also that should be tested, as he has double strike and draws 2, but the cost of 7 for the overwhelm is pretty heavy. Not sure how well it would work since Xeno Trunks can only discard up to 2 per turn. Feel free to criticize as needed. The end. Alright. So that was Tundra's little kind of blurb about his deck. He's a new player and he wanted some help with his deck, so I figured I would give it a shot. So personally, anytime I've played a Xeno Trunks deck or seen a profile online that I've liked, it was typically a red, blue, black build. So I think I'm going to be incorporating some type of small blue engine, maybe just like 12 cards between like 4 Whis, 4 Boo, and 4 Sensumine, because Sensumine is just that good, especially against Storm. But I do love the implementation of the Beyond Darkest Demigra, so I want to make something with that work. So yeah, we'll see what we got here. So we'll just quickly go over the profile he currently has. So 4 Spring Kai of Time, World's Protector, super combo, great. Power Aura Mira, he explained that he wants to drop this with the Chain Attack Trunks. I think there are just more impactful cards you could be playing instead of that card to summon off Chain Attack Trunks, so this card is probably going to get cut. I like Time Patrol because it can grab you some of the extra cards you want to play in the deck. Dark Plot, Planet M2. I'm not sure if we'll keep Dark Plot in the deck overall, but I do like Planet M2. So I do like how Trunks can grab those. So we'll probably be keeping him, potentially bumping him up to 4. Then we have the Desperate Onslaught Bardox and the Power Overseeing Times. So you're on the right track here because these are 2 of the best cards to bring back off Dark Plot. Once again, I'm not sure if Dark Plot is necessarily going to be staying in the deck, but I can see some nutty turn 4 combos where you Dark Plot, untap 3, Sensumine to go back up to 4 untap, do more shenanigans. So I can actually see that being a prominent play in the deck. So we'll toy around with that once we get into the rest of the profile. The Beyond Darkest Demigra, I'm a really big fan of. It's just that you cannot really perform other overwhelms during the game if you're going to go for this card. But that's not necessarily a huge problem. I can actually see just completely milling out your pieces, going for the Dark Plot plays, and then going for Demigra late game. So I can see that as a potential play in the deck. We'll try and I want to try and keep this in there because I think it's just an insane win con in general with the way the game is right now. 3 Xeno, Playing God, great card, obviously paired with Chain Attack Trunks. I do think we want to up the blue count because blue is going to be such an impactful engine just as far as the game looks right now, even moving into set 5. 3 Heroic Duo Videl split with 1 Vados Assistance. I kind of questioning what the deal with this was and why you didn't just go with 4 of each of either one. Vados Assistance is definitely getting cut. I do prefer Videl over it in general. Maybe it's good to restand your Intensifying Power Trunks, but I think these 4 negates will get cut in place of the 4 coercions in general. 4 Intensifying Power Trunks, really great card in any deck that's playing red. Great to help yourself awaken, great to evolve over Chain Attack Trunks. I think I want to implement Kaba somewhere in this deck. I want to find space for him, so we'll work on that because he can be a really sneaky finisher for a really cheap energy investment. 3 Planet M2. I think this is going to come down to either 2 or 1 because it can be a bit bricky, definitely at 3. 2 is good because you'll see it a bit more often, and once you have that on board, your Unawakened leader will always draw cards, which is really good, and it's just generally good against the 1-drop rush we're seeing a lot of right now. So I do like this card in the deck. Might go down to 2 or 1 depending how much space we need. So now in the red package, we have just like a slew of cards that are being summoned off chain attack trunks, and I think that we're gonna have to trim down and kind of mitigate all these packages a little bit. So ability unleash ultimate Gohan, really good generic red card, but I think we'll end up cutting him in terms of just playing other impactful things and to fit space for the blue engine. But he may stay in the deck just to come off chain attack trunks. I'm not totally sure yet, but I'm gonna have to ponder that. And we have the 2 bodyguard Legic. This card has not seen very much play recently, and I think it's for good reason. A lot of main decks aren't playing red right now though, so that could be just kind of a factor that causes that. I think Legic will end up getting cut if we need space because he's more of a side deck card than anything. He's not really good if you're going first. Then we have 2 burst attacks on Gohans. 2 is a good number because it's pretty situational. I think this is a good number, but it may go up because I do value the crit. But the fact that ability unleash can actually draw regardless is really good. So we might mess around with these numbers here. 3 Fearless Pan, I like it a lot with chain attack trunks and all your other red cards in the deck. So we'll definitely be keeping her at 3. I can maybe see rising her to 4, but 3 seems pretty valid. 3 Furthering Instruction Champa. I think this can get dropped to 2 and potentially be replaced by Kai. Just because in a deck that's playing red, Kai has just a touch more flexibility because you can actually hard cast the Kai if you ever needed to for a 15k beater. You can also summon it off chain attack trunks, like if the situation ever arose. I think that the Supreme Kai double strike combo just has a bit more synergy with the deck than Champa will. So I think we'll cut Champa out for the Kais, probably at a 2 of. 4 chain attack trunks, what the deck is trying to focus around, so we'll definitely be keeping that up at 4. And 2 Unbreakable Super Saiyans on Goku. I can see 2 in the deck, but I think if we have the space, I'll bump it up to 4 because this deck is not really playing many 10k combos at all. There are quite a few extra cards, but we're going to be cutting some of those, and the blue package is going to allow us to untap energy more easily. So we're going to toy with that. This card's potentially going to go up if we have the space. So we'll go into the deck editor. So there are cards that I already mentioned cutting. We're going to get rid of the Heroic Duo Videls and the Vados Assistants. I do want to drop the Legics for now because, like I said, I think it's just a better main deck card than anything. The 3 Champas I want to replace with the Kai right now because that's, like I mentioned before, it just has better synergy with the deck, and I only want to play 2 Kai just to start for now. Mira is getting cut. We have the Desperate Onslaught Bardox. This could go up. I think it's just a better card to hit off of your Dark Plot. And I'm kind of thinking about going up to 4 on Overseeing Time and just keeping Bardock at 2. But I think I'm actually going to go with the 3 Bardock and 2 Trunks because the Trunks is a bit cloggier in terms of if you see too many of them, you can't really play them very often because it is a rather steep energy investment for 1. And for 2, you don't want to be overwhelming too much if you're going to be going for the Demigod play. Really, any mid-range gameplay, you're going to want to go for Demigarage or Wincon. So I'm going to keep that like that for now. 3 Planet M2, we're going to drop this down to 2 for now. It might end up going down to 1 if we need more space. And the Dark Plot, I can see bumping up to 3 because it'll make some really crazy turn 4 plays with Trunkses and Desperate Onslaughts. But for now, we'll keep it at 2. And I want to add in that blue package. So like I mentioned before, it's going to be 4 Senzu Bean. Realistically, the curve of this deck, you're only going to need to charge 1 blue just to get most of your plays off. Like your ideal curve turn 3 is going to be 2 red, 1 blue. So 4 Coercion, just the most energy efficient negate, and then the most splashable blue card, especially off of a 1 blue energy, is going to be energy boosted Majin Buu. I can tell you that most of the time this card is going to get charged, but it's just the best generic blue card I think you can play right now. So at this moment we're at 53 total cards, and we haven't even added Kaba yet. I did want to add Kaba, but we'll see what happens with that. So we have 4 Intensifying Power Trunks. I am a fan of this card at 4, of course. 3 Ability Unleashed. I did mention I was a little bit iffy on that, but it is one of the better cards to play off of your chain attack. So I think this needs to stay in the deck just to build board. Maybe you could even just... I think that'll stay in for now. 2 Burst Attack Gohan. Like I said, good but situational. This can maybe get bumped out to the side if need be, because Chain Attack Xeno is losing a bit of prevalence, but it is one of your best cards to drop after Chain Xenoing someone. So I think we'll keep it in there at 2 for now. Kind of like the Blue-Red SS3 logic back when that was the format. 3 Fearless Pan, your win con with Chain Attack, we got to keep it in there. 4 Chain Attack, need to play it. 2 Unbreakable, I think this is getting cut for now. 3 Xeno the Plane God, 4 Super Combos, 3 Time Patrol, it's your easy overwhelm cast of choice, so I think we'll keep it in there. 3 Desperate Onslaughts, 3 Trunks, 1 Beyond Darkness Demigra, 2 Dark Plot, 2 M2. I will drop this down to 1 to create space. I do want to get Kaba in here as a potential 2 to 3 of, just because I do value his ability to be a really sneaky finisher for a cheap energy investment. Since we are playing the 3 Xeno, maybe Boo could get dropped for now, because I also did want to up Dark Plot to maybe 3 just to get that off. So let's go with the Sand Kaba. Let's go with that at a 3 spot right now. And let's increase Dark Plot to 3, and that should be 50. That is 50. Okay, let's take a look at the deck right now. So right off the rip, it's a lot more streamlined, which I'm a really big fan of. I think our split count is really, really good. The fact that we have 22 reds right now is going to allow us to charge those 2 reds early on, and the 11 blue will allow us to see 1 blue so that we can charge it, at least in the beginning of the game. The 4 Bean, 4 Coercion, 3 Xeno is a split that a lot of the current Chain Xeno decks in the format are going with, so I think it's an appropriate split for now. And I think the added blue package will help this deck be aggressive, because when your win con is going to be something like Chain Attack Trunks into Fearless Pan, you're going to want to be putting your opponent at low life as early as possible. So like turn 1, turn 2, swinging with your 1-drop Kabas or Trunkses, and turn 2 putting on some potential overrun pressure, swinging with your leader. Turn 3 setting up an ability Unleashed or a burst attack. Turn 4 Dark Plot potentially into a evolve player for Chain Attack, or maybe a Senzu Bean play to untap all your energy and then drop a Chain Attack into Fearless Pan. So you want to try to establish a board state that Chain Attack Trunks is going to be able to abuse the most. And right now I think the Dark Plot combos are going to enable that in sort of the best way. So looking at the current iteration of the deck, I think this is a list that I would move forward with testing, and I'll go over the profile briefly and explain why. So we have our 4 super combos, super standard, got to play them. Then we have the 3 Time Patrol Trunks. So this is a very easy overrun play to get online. So you do want to have that for your early game if needed. And then it is actually summonable off Chain Attack Trunks in a worst case scenario. The 3 Desperate Onslaught Bardock split with 3 Trunks Power Overseeing Time. I mentioned why I chose this split instead of something like 2 Overseeing Time and 4 Overseeing Time and 2 Bardock, because Overseeing Time, if you see too many of them, you're not really going to be able to cast multiples throughout the game, because it is a rather expensive energy investment. And Desperate Onslaught Bardock is really, really good brought back off Dark Plot, especially for that crit pressure where you don't want to give your opponent cards. So I'm actually a pretty big fan of this overrun split. Tundra did mention Scientist Fu, but I think with the way the deck is going to operate, with the amount of double strike it's going to be able to produce, I don't think that's going to be absolutely necessary. Although if Beyond Dark Zemigra proves to be too hard to get off in testing, I think that card will get cut, and potentially one other spot in the deck will get cut for Scientist Fu. So that is going to be something that's going to be played around with. 3 Dark Plot as opposed to 2, I just like it in the deck because I think it will enable some nutty turn 4 plays where you can just go Dark Plot and untap 3 energy, like I mentioned before. Untap something with the Senzu Beans so that you're back up to 4 energy, and then your turn just gets incredible from there. So I really like the plays that Dark Plot's going to be able to enable, and we're already playing 2 of the best things to bring back off Dark Plot, being Desperate Onslaught Bardock and Trunks Overseeing Time. The 1 Demigra, like I mentioned before, I love the fact that it's just an insane win con in any deck that's playing multiple black cards, and 17 is a really good count for it. The only thing I can see is potentially being a difficult play in this deck to get off, because that means you're not overwhelming for basically the entire game until turn 5. Maybe once like turn 2 if you can refill enough black to your grave. So that's going to be something that's going to have to be toyed around with in testing. The implementation of the blue package I'm a really big fan of, although I do understand if it's difficult for you to get the Senzu Beans Tundra, but I promise you they are a worthwhile investment because they'll go in just about any deck you play in the future of this game. So definitely I would recommend investing in Senzu Beans. The 4 Coercion is arguably the best negate right now until set 5 comes out, because Nimbus is a bit unnecessary, especially if you're only playing a red-blue package, and it's just the most energy efficient negate, so it's really good. 3 Xeno, it is the best combo to ever pull off with Chain Attack Trunks, especially if you're falling behind in any game. You need to be playing it in any deck that's realistically playing blue-red, if you can, if your deck can afford to play it. And I think this Trunks can take real good advantage of that, especially with his Awakened ability to put on huge pressure after a Chain Xeno. So really good there. Very chargeable in case you draw multiples. Then we have our 7 Awakening tools. I'm a really big fan of 6 to 8 Awakeners, 7 being the perfect sweet spot. 4 Intensifying Power Trunks just to get those crits off and then get your Chain Attack Evolve plays. And then the 3 Sand Kabas, like I said before, I really value how sneaky of a finisher can be for a very cheap energy investment. Having multiple of these when your opponent's at 2 life can just be absolutely game ending and devastating. So really, really value it. Then we have the 2 Hidden Power East Supreme Kai. This card might actually not even be incredibly necessary in testing going forward. It is nice that it can provide some double strike crits with what the deck offers, but the fact that this deck is running a lot of actual bombs, and the fact that it's running chain attack into Fearless Pan to give everything double strike, this card might end up being a bit redundant. So I could see it getting cut in the future for maybe more ability unleash Gohans, maybe more burst attacks, things like that. But I think it's worth testing for now. 3 ability unleashed. You want to start to build some type of red board before you do drop your chain attack into Fearless Pan, so that your Fearless Pan can get the most out of her effect. So this card I think will be great at 3. I think like I said before, if Kai comes out, this can go up to 4 and burst attack can go up to 3. But for now, I think this is a good split. 2 burst attack because it is situationally good. It's not always going to provide you that 2 card draw, but it will always be a crit swinger, so really good to drop off chain attack, especially if you're comboing to protect yourself, like against something like Storm. This card's great to refuel your hand. 3 Fearless Pan, one of the main focuses of the deck, the ability to give multiple things double strike to really pressure game. The fact that it's a barrier blocker is actually really good against the current resurgence of U7 Victory Strike, so really good implementation in the deck. Nice deck building, Tundra. Nice job. Then we have the 4 chain attack. So that is what the deck is mainly focused around in terms of dropping Chain Xeno, in terms of dropping Fearless Pan, or any other of your ways to get a more massive board. So this is the version of the deck that I would test more going forward. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do want to say, please share this video with your friends, because we are so close to 1K subs, guys. Thank you guys so much for all your support so far. And the only reason I want you guys to share this video is so I can give back to you guys. Once we hit 1K subs, preferably right before the set 5 release, I want to run a massive giveaway. I've got a bunch of tournament packs, got a bunch of event packs from regionals. I got some play mats, and I want to give you guys a box of set 5 once we hit 1K subs. So let's make that happen before we get to the set 5 release, so that I can get you guys that box of set 5 as soon as physically possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this deck profile down in the comments below. Would you move forward testing this? What do you think that I should implement in this deck for Tundra going forward? Please let me know that down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please do consider liking and subscribing. My name is Joey. This is Crossroad TCG, and I'll see you next time.